Well, I am a firm believer in the power of FaceTime on the iPhone, which is wonderful. You can have conversations. We have meetings with people from all over the world. But Apple's FaceTime or any other video conferencing system is no replacement for sitting down in person and being able to pick up on the nuances and see a person truly face to face. Anytime when someone reaches out at the church or in other settings with a strong disagreement around something, we'll always at least make an attempt to be able to sit down and have a beverage or a meal or share some time together in some way. Ultimately, that is in part of what the communion table is about. Jesus was at table with people who said they were his friends, and many of them were, but not all were able to live into that. However, he still believed in trying to see them for who they truly were. Now, if there is one place this darkness is thriving, in which we cannot see the light of another person's face, it is in the form of internet trolls. Internet trolls posting comments and hiding behind their keyboards. For those of you who have blissfully managed to avoid this phenomenon, an internet troll is a term that is even officially included in the Oxford Dictionary, so it's a real thing. It is a person who makes a deliberately offensive or provocative online post. Trolls tend to seek out innocent victims, even without any provocation by the victim. Sometimes those are individual people, sometimes those are companies. Now this is purely hypothetical, but let's say that hypothetically, I buy a scale. I buy a scale, and when I take it home and I stand on it, I do not like the number that it tells me. I do not like it at all. I strongly disagree with what that scale tells me. So I even go buy 4 more different types of scales. I stand on each and every one of them, and all but one tell me a number that I do not like. So then I would troll if I went online and spoke against all of the companies that gave me the number I did not like and called them fake, called them losers, called them failing. You are all false scales. That would be a totally hypothetical example of what an internet troll would do. I maybe would even include all caps in some of those comments. Now, since this is a hypothetical example and we want to deal in reality, sometimes trolls type things like, Dippin' Dots is not the ice cream of the future. About a company to which one has no discernible connection. Sometimes that troll will continue on for more than 5 years, saying if Dippin' Dots really were the ice cream of the future, they would not have run out of vanilla. Now, sometimes internet trolls become the White House press secretary. And those were actual tweets, in case you missed it, from Sean Spicer, also known as Spicy when Melissa McCarthy plays him. Now, to their credit, the Dippin' Dots CEO responded to these comments by offering to host an ice cream social for Sean Spicer and his friends, which is about the most gracious response that one can offer to a troll. A loving response of ice cream when faced with evil for no apparent reason. Now, Spicer's feud with Dippin' Dots is relatively inane, but there are cases in the world where internet trolling is very serious and very hateful. There are cases where it leads people, and especially teenagers, to take their own lives when people say terrible things about them. Even this past year, when Ghostbusters was remade with all-female leads, including Leslie Jones, who happens to be black, racist internet trolls attacked her and said things that I will not repeat here. Thankfully, she stood strong and persevered and even lashed back in some ways. Now, citing a study of more than 1,200 people, it was considered to be statistically valid, Psychology Today reports that researchers found clear links between internet trolling and the dark tetrad of narcissism, Machiavellianism, psychopathy, and sadism. They found such a deep connection that it might be said that online trolls are prototypical everyday sadists. The church even gets trolled from time to time, including this last week when an anonymous person with a very bold name of Digger for Jesus. Digger for Jesus. Took the time to send us a very thoughtful email. And Digger for Jesus asserted that we have never read the Bible in this church, because if we had read the Bible, we would know that women need to remain silent. And we would know that we could not have a lady pastor. This is Digger for Jesus. And I started to type a response to Digger for Jesus, reassuring the person that I have read the Bible in English, Hebrew, Greek, and some Aramaic. And having done that, I am very confident that the Reverend Joanne H. Lee is every bit as called by God as I am. I decided not to give Digger for Jesus. It's just kind of fun to say, so I have to say the whole name. The engagement that he or she, and let's face it, it was probably the he, was seeking. But as the great theologian Taylor Swift once said, the hater's gonna hate. Baby, I'm just gonna shake it off. And she probably learned from Jay-Z, who said you just gotta get that dirt off your shoulders. Sometimes you just have to do that. We cannot control the trolls. At the same time, we cannot unite around hatred. We cannot unite around racism. We cannot unite around sexism, homophobia, Islamophobia, or any anti-Semitism. Any hatred is not something we can just say, let's just hug it out. That is not something that we can endorse and condone as people of faith. How did people get so mean? And what can we do about it? Today we continue our series on love is and love is not. Love is and love is not. Over the past few weeks we have explored the deeper meaning of love in 1 Corinthians. We have looked to the Bible, we have looked to C.S. Lewis, to Martin Luther King Jr., and many others to remember that love is not a passive response, that love is not weak, that it is love in action. By looking at Huba, the Aramaic word, Jesus' mother tongue, we have also remembered that love is not something that humankind is capable of completely manufacturing on our own. That God is the initiator, God is the igniter. So we need not beat ourselves up constantly if we can't feel the love and feel the warm feelings for the person who is treating us terribly. Jesus modeled this. Jesus modeled this agape love, this huba on the cross, when he looked down after he had been crucified and said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they are doing. We are not capable of doing that at all times. We are not capable of looking at the person who is treating others like garbage and saying, forgive them, they know not what they are doing. But it is what Jesus points to. Today we will focus on this very short portion of the 1 Corinthians passage that often does not make the cut at weddings. We usually, we like to love is patient, love is kind. We don't always get this far because we need to get to the reception, and I understand this. But this portion that Eddie shared, for now we see in a mirror. Now we see in a mirror, dimly, but then we will see face to face. Now I know only in part, then I will know fully, even as I have been fully known. Again, love is not weak. God initiates love. But today we remember that love sees beneath the surface. Love sees beneath the surface. A couple of years ago, when our younger son was in a public school in the Richmond district, there was a little boy named Brady who would act out. He was very aggressive. He would treat many people, including Zachary on the playground, very poorly and would get in trouble. And as we talked about this over a period of time, we acknowledged that Brady probably had a very rough situation at home and was acting out in some way. And tried to see that there was some good in there and that he was acting out through circumstances beyond his control. Now, Zachary, to his credit, eventually befriended Brady, and the bullying stopped and then settled down. But over time, in the second half of the year, Brady was missing from school for several days. Days would go on, and he would reappear with bruises. he would reappear with visible bruises. And this cycle repeated itself several times. Something was not right in Brady's life, and he was acting out in ways beyond even his control. His bullying behavior could not be tolerated, but there was something beneath the surface that only God could see. Love is not weak. God initiates love, but love sees beneath the surface. The Apostle Paul, who wrote this passage in 1 Corinthians, founded a church in which people who would not normally be together for any reason other than Christ were joined in community. There were rich people, poor people, educated, uneducated people. Some were devout, and others were there just for the free meal. See, the way we do communion with the little bread, it's wonderful, but there was a full meal, and some people would come into the early church to take advantage of that. And for the record, we do offer very full meals in many cases, and I'm told that today cookies abound. So the cookie army has done their job. Thank you very much. But Paul wanted to cut through all of this. He wanted to tell them that their status, their education, their affluence did not give them a higher standing in the sight of Christ. He admonished them to remember that they were called to be one body. They were called to be one body. Now, Paul did not tell them to tolerate all behaviors. He gave some very specific instructions in his other letters around what behaviors that a follower of Christ would embark upon. But he called them to remember that they were first and foremost one body in Christ. So why is it so hard to understand our neighbors' perspectives and to tolerate them, much less love them and love strangers? My friend JB shared a resource that helps explain some of our dilemma. A social psychologist and NYU Stern School of Business professor Jonathan Haidt explains why good people are divided by politics and religion in his book, The Righteous Mind. And I know many in this congregation and many around the country are taking time to read perspectives other than their own. There are some who are reading Ta-Nehisi Coates' Between the World and Me, some who have already read and are reading Hillbilly Elegy. People are seeking to understand folks with ideas that are very different than their own. But Haidt gets to the heart of it and wants us to understand that nurture, the environment in which we grow up and the way we are treated, definitely has a major impact, but that nurture isn't as all-powerful as thought in the last century. He draws from neuroscience to say that our moral sense developed over millions of years of evolution, and that the brain is like a book. The brain is like a book. The first draft written by genes during fetal development. No chapters complete at birth. Some just rough outlines which are continually being rewritten. Now, certainly during childhood, but still open to being rewritten. So we are hardwired to be self-righteous. We are hardwired to be self-righteous. So how do we get out of our own way? Haidt says that if we want to change other people, we have to understand our own moral psychology and step outside of the moral matrix. We must operate with the assumption that everyone does think they are right and have a reason for it. Haidt calls us to moral humility. Reminds us that we all have hidden parts of our lives and reasons why we do what we do. How can we strive to see beneath the surface? I invite you to picture someone who makes you really angry and seems beyond redemption. Not him, no. Someone you personally know. Picture this person, close your eyes if you wish. Envision this person who has treated you terribly and you have just written off in all ways. Now, imagine something that might be truly terrifying. This person is with you in your version of heaven. Forever. Forever. I realize that this can be nightmare-inducing. And a friend tells me that when she struggles to see a person who is a perpetual jerk over a prolonged period of time, she thinks that they have just not fully realized their glory in the sight of the Lord. They have not fully realized their glory in the sight of the Lord. It's much nicer than the way many of us would put it. But when Paul employs the dim mirror metaphor, he is not referring to the type of mirrors that we envision. Those did not exist yet in Paul's day. Best case, there might have been a polished piece of metal. And if one even had access, they would have seen a very distorted image. A very distorted image. Paul wants to remind them that they must see beyond that distortion, that God sees beyond it, and we are growing into our ability to do that, and will not fully realize that glory without God's ultimate assistance. My wife's childhood friend serves as a school principal, surrounded by people with whom she fundamentally disagrees. Antonia recently posted, one thing about working on the Delta, this is in California, on the Delta, has really brought home for me is that you can love people whose politics you do not agree with. I keep this belief close to my heart so that I can keep doing the work I am in this life to do. My humanity depends upon it. Antonia is not one to back away from matters of justice. She really is not. She never says that love means tolerating hatred. And Antonia does raise the importance of seeking to love, and in so doing, reclaiming our humanity. As many, including writer Anne Lamott, have said, holding on to anger is like drinking rat poison and waiting for the rat to die. Holding on to anger is like drinking rat poison and waiting for the rat to die. It does not work. I invite you to, again, think about that person you cannot stand. Now, think about how the world has bruised them. Perhaps how one or both of their parents treated them, if they had parents in their lives. How perhaps sources of validation which you received did not come to them. And now think about your own wounds. How you act out, how I act out, sometimes without even realizing why. God sees us face to face with all of our baggage. Jesus greets us with open arms. May we resist allowing the dim mirrors of this world to tell us otherwise.